we're going to go through some trending items that kind of trip me up at first with trending. So we will create our trending screen. Brings us up. We're going to have to add pens. As you can see, you can't just go here and add pens. So we'll have to go to the pens and the connections, and add whichever pens we want. So I want the flow, I want the level, and I want to know when the pump turns on. Right. So now we can go back to the pens here, and we see that we can change the color, we can change them visible, invisible, and also the width. And then the type, I always keep them analog. Even for the digitals, I keep analog because one thing I ran into is that with the digital values of 0 and 1, when it turns on, say the scale is 0 to 100, right, you're only going to be up at 1 here. So a lot of times, you know, the operator might miss that. So usually what I'll do is in the PLC logic, when a digital input that I want to trend comes on, or digital status, like the pump turning on, I'll move a value into an integer that is half of the scale on the trending screen. And so it'll be right in the middle where the operator can see it nice and easily. And then also another thing here you have to watch out for is it's kind of hard to see that you have to go over to the right here, and you have min and max values. So let's say that your flow is 0 to 100, your level is 0 to 50, and the pump on integer is it goes to 50, right? So if I didn't go over here, so all right, everything's good, we ship it out, and then it gets to the site, and the operator's like, hey, the flow meter or the level transducer is reading 18 feet, but on the trending screen it only goes up to 15. And what gives? You know, you look through the logic and stuff like that, and what I've found is a lot of people can deal with the logic of a process or a machine, but the screens really only programmers typically dig into the screen, so they don't know that much, and he might not know to look for this min and max, right? So this will limit, even if your value, say let's say here we had 10, right? So even if your flow is up at 50, you maxed it out at 10 on the graph, so it's not going to do anything, and that's a problem. Another thing is this data log model, right? So we have to, we'll save here. We have to create a data log model, and this is something that tripped me up. We're just going to call it untitled data log model. That sounds good. So now here, go to the tags. We have to add some tags. So even though we added those tags to the connections on the trending screen, we also have to add it to the data log model, or it won't show up. So we're going to add a flow, all three of these, and then we can add, and they're all there. And we'll close this. Yes, we'll save it. Component name. We'll just do log. Alright. So now we can come back in here, go to the pens, and there's log. And so, if you, like I said, if you have the connections here, right, in the connection sections of the trending screen, but you don't have it in the data log, then it's not going to display here. And I ran into this because, you know, a lot of times someone will send you a program, an example, and say, hey, I did this last year, you know, you don't have to redo everything, just change a few things and ship it out. And so that happened, and it got to site, and I didn't know why I wasn't logging. And eventually I found out that, you know, even if your connections are here, you still need them in the data log model. So there's that. And then there is also on startup, you have to click the data logging, and then you can select you know, which model that you're going to use. So if you don't do that, then it's also not going to log. That's one little thing. yeah, I think that's all that really, at first it tripped me up. Sorry I didn't go through all the basics of setting up every single thing, but I'm sure there's videos out there. Really, it's pretty straightforward to, how many decimal places, how many grid lines, you want major or minor ones, your scale, the background color, all that stuff. You can kind of just go through for yourself. It's actually probably better that way, that you struggle through a little bit of it. But in this video, I just went through some of the things that are really not that obvious, that are required in order to have trending on Factory Talk View screen. So I hope that helps.